How's it going, everyone? How's it going? We're back. Patterdale Talk Wednesdays. See, we got Doofy. We got what's going on? Hello, check. Let's see, we got there we go. See, we got Doofy 324 in here already. What's up? Jamie Park, how you doing, sir? Yeah, it's Patterdale Talk Wednesdays. As you guys know, we do this every Wednesday. Every other Wednesday, we try to do it every Wednesday, but things come up here and here. But yeah, brought to you by Live Your Life Dogs, New England Patterdale Terrier Club, and the PTCA. And yeah, we're here to talk about Patterdales. Today we're gonna do a question that I asked on Facebook that seemed to get a lot of comments and a lot of attention. So yeah, hopefully we get some comments here tonight and see what people have to say. But I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys can see it on the screen. What matters more, pedigree or handler? What matters more, pedigree or handler? I guess I'll start with and I just want to say before we get into it, everyone's respect everyone's opinion. Everyone's opinion is their opinion. Their experience is their experience. So there might be a reason why they have their opinion. Might be a reason why you have your opinion. But respect everyone's opinion, and to each our own. At the end of the day, we all love the Patterdale Terrier. At the end of the day, it's us. It's us versus the rodents. It's us and our dogs versus the rodents, not us versus each other. So anything in life, everyone has their opinion. If it's sports or whatever it is, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, be your opinion, your reason why. But yeah, what matters more, pedigree or handler? I mean, of course, the easiest thing is to, go 50-50. I'm gonna, as far as me and in my experience, I would probably go more 60, I'd say 70% handler. You know what I mean? Because I've seen I've seen several dogs in people's hands that couldn't really do nothing with them, and not just the Patterdale Terrier, but just in general. When my experience in the dog world in general, I've seen plenty of dogs where they wasn't doing well or doing what they were bred to be, or doing with their work, what their owner wanted them to do, and it wasn't working out too good. Then that dog went to, person probably gave the dog to someone else or whatever, sold the dog, and the dog flourished. Obviously, I guess that's vice versa too. You could have a good dog make a bad handler look good if it's just one of them dogs that just, no matter who got it, it probably was gonna put in some work. But yeah, I would say I give it I say 65-35. 65% the handler, 35% the genetics or pedigree or whatever you want to. I guess pedigree is the paper, so we would say genetics. But yeah, if you want to, Doofy 324, if you want to throw in your opinion. Again, like, comment, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend. But yeah, Doofy or Jamie Park, if you want to let us know your opinion on that question. What matters more, pedigree or handler? That that would be great. Or anyone else who wants to engage in this conversation. A good handler is going to bring the very best out that dog, no matter what the paper says. Of course, it's a piece of of course, if it's a piece of shit dog, I don't care who the handler is. My 1% opinion. Okay. And okay, I mean, I guess so. I guess you're more on like what I'm saying. It's maybe 65 handler, 70% handler type thing, or 60% handler. But yeah. Thanks for the comment. Maybe because it could be the best there is as a baseball World Series coach, but if I ain't got the pedigree, it feels like I get. I mean, that's kind of crazy. You know, I respect the example, but that's a little, you know, it's a little. I would say a little different, but I get what you're saying. You know, I get what you're saying. So yeah, I get what you're saying, but yeah, you could be the best coach, but you know, I don't know if the players. It's probably going to come down to how they were, brought up and a lot of stuff. I don't know if baseball's in anyone's genetics, but who knows? You know, I respect. I get it, and I respect it. I respect it. 101. Good evening. Good evening. Like, comment, subscribe, share. You could take. You could. You're watching on YouTube. You could share it and share it on your Facebook now. Let people know we're live. You know, share wherever. Let people know we're live. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And definitely comment on this question. The question is, what matters more, pedigree or handler? And you know, no one's wrong, no one's right, no one's right, no one's wrong. It's all your opinion. And you know, here on Live Your Life Dogs, we definitely respect everyone's opinion. So, yeah. 101 Kennels again. What's up? Good evening. Good evening. Doofy handler, too fine tune. Gotta have the good to start. Okay, so gotta have the. I get it. 101. Good evening, my son. Yes, sir. Jamie Park, the legend himself. You can lose the papers and still have a good dog. Dapper Trapper, my guy. You know, I always appreciate you. You're always in here every Wednesday, so I appreciate it a lot. Yeah, and that's why I kind of said you. I don't think you was in here yet, but I stated earlier. I guess I should say genetics, because papers is just. I mean, pedigree is just the papers, but the pedigree is that pedigree paper is showing what's in their genetics. You know what I mean? So I guess I should say genetics more than pedigree, because pedigree is actually just the word for the tree or the papers or whatever. But the pedigree does show what genetics are in that dog. Good evening, Pops. Yes, sir. Good evening to everyone and all. Another thing I could do, I could also if anyone wants to hop in and engage and, you know, talk live and you don't have to always comment or whatever, talk live and, you know, come up on the ride with me. I could put the actually I'll do that right now. Put the link. You could hop in if you would like to. Just got to hit this link. Just got to hit that link that I just put. And yeah, you should be able to hop in here, and you could hop in here and go live and tell me your opinion. You know, what's Jamie Park got to say? I like my dogs to have papers because I don't smoke a pipe. I do like this. Yeah. Davey always got a few jokes up his sleeve. I mean, maybe he hasn't written down. I don't know, but he always got a whole bunch of jokes. But yeah, I mean, as far as like that's a whole nother ongoing thing. Is papers matters or whatever. I mean, I always like to have papers if I can. That being said, I probably had about 15 dogs that I kept or whatever that were like not counting litters and stuff like that. But and I think only my Patterdale had papers. So, but that being said, yes, after me having so many dogs without papers, I definitely would like to have papers. And when it comes to something like this, you definitely want to see the genetics. If you're going to find pups, if you're going to buy a pup, you might want to see. You definitely want. I would say you want to see who the parents are, and if possible, look back and see how the parents look and if they're workers and stuff like that. And looking genetics, of course, if there's a dog that his grandparents are all known for doing crazy work and Hall of Famers, I mean, obviously that pedigree is going to look a little better. But I mean, if that's the case, the genetics probably are a little better and probably are good on when it comes to those pups. But yeah, again, I see there's a couple more people watching. The question of the day is, what matters more, pedigree or handler? Yeah, leave a comment. We got a couple of people who, Jamie gave his piece on it. Good handlers going to bring the very best out of dog, no matter what the paper says. Of course, if it's a piece of shit dog, I don't care who the handler is. Pedigree, because I could be the best at his baseball. Oh, okay, yeah, this is the baseball annihilation. Yeah, so a couple people gave their opinions, and again, I was saying my opinion. And again, your opinion. Your opinion, is a lot of I would think your opinion is based off your experience. You know what I mean? Unless it's just like, oh, I don't know, maybe you just heard someone say it and you're just running with what they said. But yeah, your opinion is your opinion. But I would think it was based off your experience. It's like buying a can. Jamie Park said it's like buying a can of soup. Do you buy it just because it says soup on the can, or you turn around and look at the ingredients? I mean, I get it. Yeah. If you're just buying a can of soup, you just go in there and grab a can of soup. Don't really care what's in it. You're just buying a can of soup. If you're someone who's put that out. If you're someone who's more in a healthy thing and more into what you're eating and something like that, then you're gonna look at the ingredients. So yeah, I get it. If you just want a dog just to have a dog, then yeah, you might just go get a dog. But if you want a dog, well, I guess when it comes to the Patterdale world, if you just want a Patterdale, which we don't promote that over here. If you get a Patterdale, we want you. We're always trying to keep the hunting aspect alive. But cut it out. But yeah, if you you just want a dog, you just go get a Patterdale, I guess. But if you want a Patterdale certain size, parents working, certain look, then yeah, you're gonna have to look at the genetics. Yeah, you're gonna have to look at the genetics. Excuse me one second. Yeah, so leave a comment, man. Leave a comment. The question of the day is, what matters more, pedigree or handler? And right now it's looking like more people are kind of on the handler side. But we'll see how that goes as we go along. In the working terrier context, my opinion is heavily on genetics. Much of what they do is solo and independent. of the handler. Okay, and that's kind of like a thing where it's like I would say, okay, maybe if you're saying if once you turn them on and they're on, once you turn them on game and they now they triggered, they ready to, once that switch goes off, and you guys know once the switch goes off, it's pretty much off for life when it comes to a Patterdale. You're saying you don't really got to do much. You just the handler's got to basically just let them find the holes, and the handlers just got to dig. So if you got good genetics, you don't really got to do much. You got a dog with a good nose, dog with a good bite. He's gonna find stuff, hold it. All you got to do is dig. Is that what you're getting at for 101? Which makes sense. Now I would say that that's all very true, and that's all facts. Now where the handler come into play is how because like you said, once like I said, which I think you was getting at, is like once the dog's on, it's on. You don't got to do much. When the handler comes into play, I would think though, even if that dog, already was one of them dogs, like it got good nose, it got good nut bite, I think the handler would come into play is, how strong is that dog? How is that dog's stamina? Has good bite, but obviously a good handler can make a good bite stronger, which makes obviously a better bite. So even things like that, you know what I mean? Stamina, strength, which all would help. I mean, is obviously going to help the dog in a situation. But so I get what you're saying as far as like, yeah, once they once they're on, you don't really got to do much. You just gotta let them find the holes. They're gonna go in, hold. You really gotta dig, and that's true. You really don't gotta do much. Once that trigger goes, they're gonna go find it, and you're pretty much gonna dig. But I think, like you said, I think genetics definitely come into play with that, because if you got couple of dogs where it's like that dog's parents and great parents wasn't workers, it's probably gonna take a lot more to turn that dog on. Sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time it does. You know what I mean? My experience. But yeah, I would say that's when the handler comes into play. Like, how healthy is that? It's kind of like a trainer or a boxer. Like, you could train someone and just throw them in the ring, but how healthy is your boxer? How much in shape is your boxer? Is your boxer really fight ready, I should say? And same thing I should say maybe with the Patterdale. Like, yeah, you have a Patterdale, it's ready to, it knows how to hunt, knows how to go in the ground and get it, but is it in the shape to do so? And obviously all you gotta do is take care of them pretty much, and they'll be in the shape. But obviously you could make them stronger, you can make her stamina better, you could make, what I mean, things like that. So yeah, I still say when it comes to having a top dog just all around, even if it comes down to like, how they look or whatever, you know what I mean? Food, what you feed your dog and what you put in their food can have an effect on all that. And as far as the Patterdale, we're not too into the show or into like that, but we do indulge here and there. And yeah, I know as far as like what you're feeding dog could definitely come into play when it comes into coat and stuff like that. And then if you're someone who works out your dog, I'm pretty sure it's gonna look better and dig better and hunt better if it's in better shape. That just makes sense to me. You know what I mean? But again, that's my opinion. But 101, I get what you're saying. As AC says, great dogs are born. I agree with that. But a great handler can make that great dog greater? I don't know. Let's talk about it. You keep a whole letter. I'm guessing, yeah, I'm pretty sure he said it meant litter. They all have the same genetics. takes a good handler to help separate the colts from the. And I agree with that. Yes, you could have 6 pups, 8 pups, and obviously they all have the same genetics, but it's definitely gonna take someone who knows what they're doing and knows what they're looking for to to pick that right one, because we all know you could have great parents and have 6 pups and only 2 of them really what you're looking for. You know what I mean? Really got it in them, or really like the parents, or really what you're looking for. And handler or owner, whatever. But a handler has to be able to point those things out and notice what 2 dogs would be the best. So handler still comes into play a lot. Not quite that simple. Bad handler can ruin a good one by doing too much to it too soon. Definitely. You could definitely curl a good dog or mess it up or whatever, doing too much too soon. I mean, even as far as like physical work, I've seen people, have got their dogs doing stuff where it's just too young to be jumping off something that high, or too young to be trying to jump on something that high and end up breaking a leg or something. You know what I mean? So definitely do too much too soon. But there are also dogs that exist that do not care what you put in front of them. They push through with class. Very true. I've seen people take a very good dog and just about ruin it because they really didn't know. Yeah, and that's and I've seen that done. I've seen people take a good dog and ruin it. And I've seen people that had a dog and didn't think it was a good dog and give it to a better handler or a good handler, and the dog flourish. You know what I mean? So, the handler, watch it 10 on 10. Fact. Yes. That is facts. And I feel, I mean, at least in my experience, I feel like, and maybe, I guess it's, I don't know if it's the people around but I feel like I've seen more dogs, and I have, not saying I haven't seen, I have seen good dogs be ruined. I have seen that, but in my experience, I feel like I have seen more dogs that really wasn't that ill, or and the handler made them better, or dogs that was with someone else and the dog just wasn't doing what they wanted, they're complaining, all this dog and shit, someone else say, oh, let me take the dog for 6 months, and 6 months later the dog's a whole nother dog ready to work and do whatever they wanted to do. So I think, so vice versa. But I think it's I'm still more on the 70 handler, 30 pedigree, I should say 30 genetic side. But again, it's our opinion. Little mates only share 50% genetics at best, if I'm not mistaken. Hey, I always look it up, right? Yeah, and you're right, because of the a lot of the grandparents and stuff coming out of place. So it's 50% of the father. Okay. Yeah, so you're right. You're right on that, about that 101. They about 50% of the genetics at best. So that comes into play. And then I've seen I've heard even other things where People would still hunt their Patterdales the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks while they're pregnant to like maybe get that type of energy in the pups. And hey, I'm no scientist or doctor or none of that, but I heard people say it where they still hunt their dogs the first 2-3 weeks of pregnancy or something like that. Just they feel like the hunt's gonna get passed down to the pup more because the mother's giving off that energy while the pup's in them. Which could be totally bullshit, but you know, something more we'd have to look into. Doug 757, salute. Old Stafford, salute. Everyone in here, salute, like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Question of the day, what matters more? Pedigree, handler, genetics or handler? Salute. Yep. He just 50%. They don't share an even amount of genetics. And it varies from each pup. Yeah, and I mean it makes sense. That's why you get pups that you get that one pup that has the shade of the mother or the color of the mother, another pup that color of the father, another pup that comes out with spots like the grandparents or like the grandfather. So, you know, definitely varies. And I mean that's even with humans. You could have triplets. They all look the same, but they all could act different, or you know what I mean? They all will act different. So have 5, 6 brothers and 6 sisters, same parents. You're not gonna all be the same. There are a couple kennels out there that I love to see my dogs go to because I know they're going to bring the very best out of my dog. They push it. Yeah, and that's when it comes down to handlers too, I would say, because there's definitely handlers that start hunting their dogs at 6 months. There's handlers that wait a year. And I'm not saying either I'm not saying either handler is better than the other. I would say it would really come down really to the pup, where the handler is like, okay, this dog's 6 months, but it wants it so bad and it's so feisty and it's strong enough to, do some work. And then you might say, oh, this dog needs more time. So that's and they could be in the same litter. You know what I mean? But yeah, that definitely comes into play too, where it's like they could be they could all be from the same litter, but just you're gonna have to really pay attention and see which ones need more time, which ones are ready now, that type of thing. Even if you have someone like, some people just have, some people just like, I get a dog and I'm gonna push them all the same. And I'm not saying that's bad. I mean, you do your thing, and if it's something where it's like you push them all the same, if they if they don't make that cut, then they don't make it, and that's just how you go about it. But there's also a case where it's like you might, and this was, some people were saying earlier, as far as like a good handler might ruin a dog or just not know it. You might say, oh, this dog is gonna take too long to get ready, and so this dog needs more time and I don't have the time to deal with that, so you get rid of it, and then someone else takes the time and that dog end up being, the shit out of all the dogs. So there's that too. Dapper Chopper. I say that's every breeder's dream, to get their get their pups in the hands of great handlers to bring the best out their dog. Definitely. And that's why you got a lot of people that only sell their dogs to, certain people. I know as far as in the Patterdale world, I know a whole lot of people that are only, they're only going to sell their dogs to people that are working them, or they rather give their dogs to people that they know are going to work them than sell their dogs to someone. And even though they might be making a little money, but sell them and not know, and not, you know, and that dog's not going to work it. Because in the Patterdale world, and New England Patterdale Terrier Club and the PTCA, that's one thing we focus on, is keeping the hunting aspect alive. So we don't really promote just getting a Patterdale just to get a Patterdale too much. Dapper Trapper, yes sir. There's nothing worse than building a Corvette and have somebody drive it like a damn Honda or Hyundai. Hyundai. Is that how you say it? But yeah. I mean, yeah. It all makes sense. I mean, but I get, it still seems like tonight was still a little bit more on the handler side. Or am I mistaken? Seems like we're still a bit more on the handler side. But I definitely think if you got great genetics with a great handler, because you could get an okay dog, you could get a good dog, you could get a great dog. I think a great dog, you know, with a great handler, you know, is the best thing, obviously. But you know, it varies. You got to find the right dog. You got to find the right handler. You know, you guys know what it is. Or leave it in the garage and never drive it. You could do that too. And some people do that. Some people have dogs that just don't want to work, and they just leave them and let them live and just chill. Some people have dogs, they don't work, and you know, they'll give them to someone who just wants a yeah, they'll just give it to someone who wants a dog. Maybe part of the reason that I say genetics is I don't think a higher percentage of the population of American do the job with difficult contact. More will quit than they acknowledge. Are you saying this? Okay. I don't think 100% of the population. Yeah, I mean, you're right. I guess, yeah, if you look at it that way, like, yeah, a lot of people are not going to do what it takes. But yeah, I mean, that's true. It's not like you're making up anything. You know what I mean? That's true. I just feel like I've seen more people, and even including myself, I have taken dogs from people. You know what I mean? Even if it wasn't a Patterdale, I have taken dogs from people, and the dog was, you know, her tail tucked and stuff like that, and you know, I was able to build a dog's confidence, and 6 months, 8 months, a year later, that dog's a whole nother dog. You know what I mean? Tail out, ready to play, ready to hunt, you know? So I feel like I've seen more handlers, you know, do good things with bad dogs. So, but again, this is all young, you know what I mean? Your experience, your opinion. It's all good. Yeah, I mean, you have no experience with the Patterdale, but you're at the right place to definitely learn about the Patterdale. You know, we pretty much cover everything and try to go over everything, and some things we get back to it and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely on the right page where you could go and check things out. Check these past lives out, and I learned a lot. You could obviously also go to the New England Patterdale Terrier Club website, NewEnglandPTC.com, and learn a lot from there. A puppy always has room to get better with time, but adult terrier, if it's shit, it's shit. I agree with that. Definitely, definitely got more patience. I think it comes to patience too, where it's a puppy you're gonna have more patience with. You know what I mean? Where if a doubt, it's like, fuck it, you're already this old. I don't have the time to keep doing this over. You know what I mean? Keep doing this. So I think that comes into play a lot too. But it is what it is. Eddie Hernandez, yes sir, absolutely. Hey, but so that being said, have you how many? Because I've seen dogs that were 2, 3. And I guess you could still call a 2-year-old dog a puppy if you want, but I've seen dogs 2, 3 years old. I've seen dogs older than that, and that wasn't really shit, and then go with a different handler, and all of a sudden they're working. All of a sudden they're doing what they're supposed to do. Thanks. You're welcome, man. So it's all love on Live Your Life Dogs channel. Whenever we're talking about dogs, regular dogs on Friday nights, not regular dogs, or just any breed, I should say, on Friday nights, or Patterdales on Wednesday nights, it's all love, man. Everyone's opinion is your opinion. We respect it. What they say, we listen, we don't judge. Yeah, but genetics or handler, what matters more? I'm kind of more on the handler side. It seems like the chat is kind of on the handler side as well. Could be mistaken, but excuse me. That's the vibes I'm getting. And again, I put I can throw it in there again. But I posted the live link if anyone wanted to come, come on the live and say that, talk about their opinion and engage in the conversation. All you gotta do is hit that link. But yeah, see, well, we got what, 13, 14, 15 people watching. Yeah, man, give us your opinion. Give us your opinion. Definitely. The question is, what matters more, pedigree or handler? So, anyone can hit that link, that live link, and hop in here with me and talk about your opinion live. Let me ask. I always gotta get to this question. Doug. Oh, so you haven't had too much experience, but who's in here that? Old Stafford, shout out to you too. Another question we always ask, shout out to Jamie Park, is mouth or nose? Mouth or nose? You rather mouth or nose? So, what matters more, pedigree or handler? And would you rather a dog with more mouth or a dog with more nose? Obviously, the ideal dog is 50-50, but yeah. And even in your experience, have dogs with more nose been better or dogs with more mouth been better? Just another question to think about. Just another question to think about. Again, like, comment, subscribe. If you just came in here, tell a friend to tell a friend. Like, comment, subscribe. What matters more, pedigree, genetics, or handler? Right now, it seems like it's on the handler side. Now, as far as what's some of the, let me ask you guys this: what's some of the things you would say? Because like I was saying earlier, once you turn them on, they're pretty much ready to go. What's some of the things that you think of? And 101 was kind of saying that, after that, the handler, and if I'm mistaken, let me know, 101. After they're kind of like turned on and, want it and always want to hunt and ready to go, the handler doesn't have to really do much. And then I got to the point where, as far as like, well, them being in better shape and, things like that can also help. Not also, but it will help them when they're hunting to be in better shape, to be healthy, to be, have strong stamina, strong wind, all that stuff, strong in general. You know what I mean? You obviously want a dog that could hold. You always want a dog that could pick some up, at least, as much as it could with a nice. You want all those things. So, as far as genetics, and do you think food plays a part? Like, food definitely plays a part as far as like you getting your puppy healthy and more in shape for hunting, for sure. Do you think food, how the parents was fed, is what I should say? Do you think how the parents was fed affects how the pups are gonna? I wouldn't really say work, like their health, their look, their size, and things like that, or it's just like whatever the parent's size is gonna route. I agree with you. A good handler can make a mediocre dog perform pretty good. A terrier in a good mental and physical a terrier in good mental and physical shape is a force to be reckoned with. But a jacker will jack. Yes, very true. Very true. And you're right. Once you, like I said, you're right. They're right earlier. Once you turn them on, they're going to click. I just think if you got a dog that's going into holes digging, obviously if that dog's stronger and more in shape, that's going to help him while he's digging. Obviously if your dog has more stamina, that's going to help him while they're hunting. As far as, okay, I might be the handler and I like to train him with the spring pole. That's definitely going to give him a stronger bite. And as we all know, the string pole, if you have it, at the right height, can actually help with like your whole body, or I should say, what is like 80% of the muscles in your body if you have the spring pole right, hang right at a certain distance where your dog is a certain distance. It works out like 80% of the muscles in the dog's body or something like that. And again, I'm no vet, I'm no doc, but either way, it does help. So I think genetics definitely plays a good play, but plays a big part. But I would say handler, handler definitely plays a big part. Training, conditioning, health, feed, all those things. What I meant to say, I don't know why that took for me to see it, but what I meant to say, if it quits in your hands, it will quit in my hands. And I agree with what you're saying, but what's that? Park, sir, I didn't see plenty of dogs quit in someone's hands, or they just couldn't get that dog together, or whatever the situation was, and then give that dog to, even if it was like even if it was like, okay, you got a dog that's aggressive, and you're a trainer, but you can't really, for some reason, you just can't really figure this dog out, or get this dog to learn or listen, and you give it to someone else and they do. You know what I mean? So I get what you're saying. It's like quit in your hands, it will quit in my hands too. But I've seen dogs quit in other people's hands and you know, basically come back to life in someone else's hands. But I get what you're saying. You don't need a hard mouth to hold on to game. All you need is a terrier to hold on mouth. All you need is terrier to hold on hard mouth. It's just a plus. But to me, good nose is key to earth. Work. Yeah, and that's a lot of people saying. Me, in my experience, I've seen a dog, and that's probably why I'm like more. And it's crazy because I was more on the nose side. And 2, I hunted and seen a dog that had a good nose, but just couldn't hold. This dog had a good nose, you know, good mouth. I mean, the dog had a good nose, yes, but the mouth just wasn't that good. So it would find, but it couldn't hold. So it's kind of like they say, oh, you can't hold it if you can't find it. Well, this one found it and couldn't hold it. So it's like, you know what I mean? What's the sense of finding it if you can't hold it, type thing? Where, you know, obviously you got the people that are going to say you can't hold what you can't find, which is very true. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. I'm not saying that handler doesn't have to do much. I believe handling and what is this thing like flicker? Hold up, one sec. One sec, you guys. Let me mess with. We should be following their points. And people should put more time into being mindful of these things at all times. I agree, 101. I agree. I see Victor Foods and Maker's Mark and recall on their food. Check your food. Oh yeah. Yeah, Victor. For those, I mean, I used to feed Victor to my dog just a couple years back now, probably like 3-4 years. But they had a actually they didn't even have a recall. Someone else bought them, and you know the kibble just started smelling different, and people's dogs, they was getting the same bag, and the dogs wasn't really eating the food. So obviously, whoever bought it, you know, mess with the ingredients. But that's how it goes. Thanks for that, Jamie, because I know a lot of people do feed Victor, and I don't know how's it been lately because I stopped feeding it, and I feed mostly raw now. But yeah. Yeah, that was okay. We're gonna talk about that. We could listen. It's Patterdale Talk. Talk about anything Patterdale, and obviously dog food has to do with Patterdale's. Victor, and I heard of that too. I've seen couple of videos back when I was doing the research on it, and people were saying that their dog was having weird heats. They were saying their dog wasn't. They had a dog that didn't go into heat for 2 years, and then right when they got the dog off Victor, ended up going into heat. So yeah, I don't know what's going on, and that was you know, one of the reasons why I stopped feeding Victor and stuff like that. So even things like that. Do you, again, and I already asked this, but do you think, stuff like that where it's like you got someone who's feeding the pup's parents real good, and then you got someone who's feeding their pup's parents like shit. Do you think that plays a part in the genetics or just the health? I should say. Obviously, it plays a part in the health. But do you think it plays a part in genetics also? Damn, my buddy just split a litter of pups with me, has been feeding Victor, and like they're looking stew, and was gonna buy some kibble. Gonna buy some kibble trash. I mean, yeah, kibble's trash, but we all know raw could get crazy expensive. And again, I don't, me personally, I don't know what's going on with Victor right now. I haven't bought Victor in probably like 3-4 years. So I'm not gonna, and things change. Someone, I would think it was 3-4 years ago, maybe even longer, some company bought Victor and a lot changed. His dog stopped eating and stuff. So, but at the same time, there could have been another company or 2 more companies who bought it since then and switched up some things, or I don't know. So I would really have to go back and do some homework and get some updated, info on Victor now, to be honest. But I mean, if it's working, I'm not going to say, I stop what's working, but I guess see how it plays out. But if that's what you've been feeding them, I don't think it's the end of the world for you to keep feeding them that. If they look good and it's working for your dogs, and that's what you can afford, it is what it is. Shit, like I say, it's good to feed them better if you can. But and I know people who have good money and make good money, and they still just feed their dog raw. They're just like, hey, I'm just gonna scoop this kibble up, feed them that way, and call it a day. You know what I mean? Mr. Park, words, I was hunting next to you when I saw that light come on your head and saw that light come on in your head, and you saw that moment where mouth was, yeah. But I might have turned back at you and grinned a little, like, yeah, that's the shit. That's that shit you be talking about. But yeah, that was a fun day, and yeah, that was you was there, Jamie, and it happened a couple of times. And don't get me wrong, I mean, this dog was working. The dog ended up getting on something and did his thing, but it had a good nose, but it couldn't, it had a good nose, but didn't have the best hold. And it happened a couple of times where it found something where it was at and wasn't able to hold, and that something was able to, and the groundhog was able to either, crash in the dirt or just get away or whatever the situation was. But, yeah, Damie. So ever since then, I've been kind of on, a little bit more on the mouth side, but it is what it is. Hey, as dog men, I say we all are in consistent pursuit of the greatest genetics. You can buy that, but putting in the time it takes to make a good dog that separate the men from the boys. Yep. I mean, I agree. That's that's kind of like, that's basically what I've been saying. Because you could have 2 dogs that are both great, and I do this. We'll talk about it later, but you could have 2 dogs that are great, great. And you could have two. Okay, so you could have two dogs that are great and two good handlers. If you got one handler that's putting in, let's just say, 10 hours a week of training and conditioning, then you have another handler who's putting in 3 hours, 2 hours a week of training and conditioning. And it's the same with sports. The dog with more training and more conditioning is probably gonna, not probably, but the dog with more training and more conditioning is going to be better. So, that's when it comes down to handling. Like, you could have, okay, our dogs are exactly the same, but I condition mine so much that that regardless they're the same, mine is stronger than yours. Mine is in better shape than yours. Mine is gonna last longer in the hunt than yours. Mine is gonna last longer in the earth than yours. So that's when that all comes down to the handler putting in that time. I absolutely believe diet has a lot to do with performance of dogs. Food is fuel. Yes. If you're feeding your dog bad food. Yes, and that's the same thing, we're humans. But and I agree with that totally. But my question was kind of like, as far as the parent, do you think what the parents, and I mean, actually, yeah, that's kind of, I would say yes. If the parents are eating good and healthy, then it's definitely gonna, affect the pups and make whatever is going on a little better. A terrier with mouth and no nose is 100% not an earth working terrier. And if that terrier couldn't, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say, you're right, Eddie. Yeah, I wouldn't say a dog. I would never want a dog with no nose. You know what I mean? Like, just can't find anything. You know what I mean? I would never want a dog with no nose. And I mean, of course, at the same time though, no, like you never. I don't. Your Patterdale's gonna have some nose. It might not be the best, but your Patterdale's gonna have some nose. So I mean, I don't see you really finding one with no nose. Like just not good at it. Just never ever can find shit, and it's right there. But yeah, 100%. So you say it's not a work. You say it's not a earth working terrier at all because it has no nose, Eddie. And why do you say that? It's not a working terrier at all if it has no nose. So it doesn't have a good nose where it can't find stuff, it's not a working terrier at all. I mean, I guess that makes sense too, because I mean, can't find stuff. How you gonna work? And if you're not working, then yeah, you're not a working terrier. Jamie Park, I know you're listening. Hear about to Shahid. Get better soon. Yeah. Shout out to Biggs, man. Shout out to my big bro, Biggs. Get better soon, bro. For real. Because you need it. What's this? Shout out to Z6Z. I don't know. Let me see. Actually, can I? Damn, I was going to try to see if I could translate this. I appreciate you being in here. I'm not. I can't translate this though. If one of you guys, can I highlight? It won't let me highlight it because I'm controlling the live. One of you guys can, if this should be in the comments, how copy it and throw it in Google and see what it means in English, please. And yeah, again, Z6, Z, appreciate you being in here, man. Some of those dogs got zero nose. Some of those don't try to use their nose. Say it again, 101. Say it again. So let me ask you this, 101. And I know you know your stuff. That's why I'm asking you. You say some dogs got zero nose, and some dogs don't even try to use their nose. So, would you say that dog? Is it worth free casting that dog, or is that dog somewhere where you're gonna walk and find the holes with him, and then aim that dog towards the holes? Or you're saying even without the nose, they'll find the holes? Which now that you said that, yeah, it seems I've seen some Patterdales where it looks like they just search. They're not really. I mean, that's not a bad thing. That's what they're supposed to be doing. But they're not really. Yeah, they're not really using their nose. They're not putting their nose to the ground. They're not. You even got some dogs that might sniff in the air. You know what I mean? But yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense. You say yes. I'm not sure. He must get back up there. I don't understand why this thing keep pausing like that, but it's all good. Some of them dogs got zero nose. We already went through that. Say it again, 101. There are depths to these dogs. You will find dogs with zero nose if you work enough. If you will not work enough of them, some have a 3 to 7 alarm on them also. What do you mean a 3 to 7 alarm on them? 101. I know what you mean. Well, at least I think I know what you mean. But everyone in the chat, everyone watching might not know what you mean. So, what you mean? Okay, thank you. Yeah, let me let me ban that user and delete the comments. Appreciate you. Hey, but if you're getting a spam, that means it's getting more traffic. So, son, but we don't want that. Appreciate you though. 2174. Appreciate you. Trapper. Oh, some won't even show interest in a hole unless they can see the curry. Some won't cast that out. Damn. I don't know about that. I mean, I get what you're saying, and obviously I know it happened, but I don't know if I'm keeping a dog like that. I'd rather have a dog that, I mean, obviously we all rather have a dog, but I like a dog that uses his nose and willing to go in there a little and look. You know what I mean? And I like a dog that knows how to back out. Go in there and look, nothing in there, back out. Go in there and summon in there, engage, and let's get it done. Right. 101, what do you mean some won't cast at all? Some won't cast at all. What do you mean, bro? Dogs with no nose, dogs that won't do anything unless they see the curve. Yeah, I don't. That's crazy because we already know these. I mean, instead of something like groundhogs, they go into dens. They got special dens for this, the nursing den, whatever. So they could run all around in there. So dogs are born deaf and blind for a reason, so they start life learning to use their nose first. And they sure do. Okay, I see what you're getting at there. Shout out to you. That SBTs, shout out to you. Steadfast performance. Now I won't keep a dog like that. A digging dog must stay put. Some of them dogs are walking. Some of them dogs are walking at a hot 3 minutes, and their alarm is set 7 minutes mark. 30 minutes. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's how it goes, right? You know, I guess that's all part of the game, I guess, man. I guess that's all part of the game. So, yeah, that was the question of the day. What matters more, pedigree or the handler? Again, like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Our dogs use their nose. We bring them up to the den. If they stick their head in there, they smell someone home, they enter. Yeah. I mean, for the most part, I mean, it's not, I would say, when it comes to the Patterdales, I would think and hope, well, you know, they all come with a little nose or more, but yeah, I feel like the nose is good, but I feel, you know, like you need that bite to hold something. So, but you know, that's another conversation. What matters more, pedigree, genetics, or handler? Pedigree, genetics, or handler? That was the question for tonight. So, what I want people to do is maybe kind of think on it a little bit more. Maybe look into it a little bit more, and we'll talk about it again. But yeah, right now it's seeming it's more. It's not. It's looking like seeming. It's looking like it's gonna end up more on the handler side, where a lot of people agree that that's even if it's a little, like I said, I'm probably 60-65% handler, so I'm not too far from 50, but yeah, that's something I want you guys to think about. And yeah, I got a couple things I gotta take care of, so I'm gonna get out of here. Appreciate everyone in the chat. Like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. We'll be back next Wednesday. I'll probably be interviewing someone, but of course we'll ask them the same question and we'll get back into this. But from now to then, maybe just think about it a little bit more, do a little bit of homework on it, think about your experience on that question. I know it's a question that people could keep going on, which is, a good thing. And I'm also going to be pushing that question on social media throughout the week to get more people involved and get more opinions. 101. I'm saying not all of them have hunt tribe. There are dogs that will follow you through the woods like a normal walk. It's pretty well documented. It's pretty well documented. Specific lines have been associated with this before. Yes, and you're definitely right. Yeah, you're right. There's dogs that, you know, they don't care to hunt. They'll just be good company while you're walking through the forest and stuff like that. So I definitely agree with that. 101. Appreciate all the comments you had tonight and in the chat. But again, I got something I gotta handle. So appreciate you guys for locking it. Appreciate you guys coming in, locking in with me. And yeah, we're gonna get back to that question next week. I'll definitely be on a little longer next week. And most likely I'll be interviewing someone, but again, we'll ask them that question and we'll get into a little bit more. As far as the mouth and nose, that question's always up. It's always a Wednesday night thing where it comes up somehow, some way. Even, I mean, a lot of the time it's me bringing it up, but it comes up somehow, some way. But yeah, appreciate you guys. Again, next week I'll be on a little longer. If you go to the page, you'll see that we have shows that, you know, we have shows that or lives, I should say, that went 3 hours. But yeah, appreciate you guys. Till next time, take care of your dogs. This is brought to you by Live Your Life Dogs, New England Patterdale Terrier Club, and the PTCA. Again, guys, it's not us versus us. It's us and our dogs versus the rodents. Let's keep that in mind. Positive vibes, and I appreciate you guys always. Take care of your dogs. Love your Patterdales. Love all your dogs, but you know, over here we love them Patterdale Terriers, man. You guys have a good night. Again, appreciate you guys. Peace.